So Sultai Flash. Sultai, for those not familiar, refers to the color combination we have here in front of us here of green, blue, and black. Flash refers to the magic mechanic on cards like Voracious Greatshark, Frilled Mystic, and Nightpack Ambusher that allows you to play these creature cards out at instant speed. One thing I'm really interested to see is if the mana base in this deck plays out in a way that's smooth. So notably, we have double green, double blue, and double black cards in our deck. Now, at a glance, just looking at the math, these playing 12 shocks plus the Triome gives us 12 of each of these colors and symbols in our mana base. Then 3 Fabled Passage and 2 of each basic gives us an additional 5. So in theory, we have 17 sources with 18 for blue with a castle of each of our different colors for this deck. So mathematically, we should be able to cast our cards most of the time. There will be some awkwardness still because this is only one color once it fetches, and we do have like basic swamp with Frilled Mystic and basic forest with Slitherwisp. One thing that I'm going to want to try at some point in the season is find out, is the green splash necessary in this deck, or is playing a lower to the ground build that's just blue-black potentially reasonable? Let's go ahead and hop on into some matches here at any rate with this and start getting a feel for how it plays out. This is probably a decent matchup for us. I keep this. So hope to run some lands off here. I don't think I've played that Triome yet. It's a sweet animation. Perfect. Just like we drew it up, chat. So this is the Gruta Doom of Depths is a pseudo combo deck that's been running around. We played against it once earlier today. Having a bunch of counterspells is likely great in a matchup like this. Tradesies. Deal. Wonder if they have another accelerant here. I think I might cycle the Shark Typhoon this turn rather than play the Cutthroat, just because I want to try and guarantee my land drop next turn. That's one of the upsides of playing Shark Typhoon. We get to have the consistency of a cantrip while also being the option to be a threat on occasion, which is nice. Perfect. You love to see it. I think I just let this happen. And I'm going to go ahead and play Slitherwisp. I think is my plan. Yeah, we've already played a couple decks on stream that bored out of playing a companion. So this is 3/2 Flash. Whenever we cast another spell with Flash, our opponent loses a life and we draw a card. Crankin' Hogs, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Oglandia. Hope you're having a good day wherever you're at in the world. Thanks for keeping me around. Was that a good draw, chat? Feels like a good draw. You have multiple companions to meet all the requirements. You cannot. One per deck. So Spark Double only copies one of their cards, so I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to go ahead and bounce their collector here. Double that. That's fine. This battle board is great. I agree. Hey, Chill Shades, thanks for the tip. I appreciate that. I think I'm okay with this. Get that deck added after we're done streaming today. Can auto-order triggered abilities in this one. This game feels pretty over. Slitherwisp just providing a steady flow of cards here for us. Super, super impressive. I love you, wife. Thank you for bringing me dinner. You're the best. Okay. Ooh. Ooh, found a piece of candy, chat. Then we bounce that. That should be lethal. They block 1, 2, 3, 4. They block 1, 2, 3, 4. They take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait, where were we? Oh, we weren't on their end step yet. I'm dumb. That was combat. I got distracted by the door. It's okay. Everything's gonna be alright. Do 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 do. They're gonna like combo kill us next turn. It's gonna be awful. Alright, so we'll let this happen. They got a Thassa. So then, when they Thassa target this at end of turn, we'll blink it with the other Brazen Borrower, and then we'll be okay. Sorry about that. We should have won this game the previous turn if I'd have been paying more attention, but, you know, dinner. It's been a long day. Alright, so we want our creature removal because killing their thing in response to the Spark Double. Does killing their thing in response to Spark Double work? Or do you have to kill it in response and hope they don't get it, right? Is that how that works? And then if they hit another copy of itself, you're just kind of in trouble? The removal's probably good just for, like, playing through their fair game, though. Because their fair game is something we need to worry about once we disrupt their combo. Probably a Shark Typhoon out matchup. Can trim, like, a Tyrant Scorn here. You have to kill it with the trigger on the stack, yeah. And then if it finds another copy of itself, they could still get you. There's a creature that reduces flash cost, not good enough for this deck. You mean the reduces cost in my Slitherwisp Frilled Mystic deck? That creature? If the MTG Melee page says registration not possible, go into your MTG Melee settings and unlink and then relink your Twitch account. Hands with no shocks or triome. Gonna be a little bit awkward here. Okay. With Watery Grave drawn, I think I still lead on this and grab Swamp, I think is my plan. So that way I can Murderous Rider and Slitherwisp. I just like playing not to play green spells for a little bit. Gonna get to sample a little bit here how good blue-black flash is, huh? Looking a scotch awkward. Although it's looking like their deck's also awkward, so it's probably not gonna matter. Sure, you have a Destiny Spinner. Yeah, I could see Nightbonder being useful in a... Nightbonder being useful against other counterspell decks, potentially, if that's something you're worried about, but I'm more worried about Teferi than other counterspell decks. Yeah, and in a straight blue-black build, you probably have room for the Flash Mutate card, too, as another Curiosity-style effect. I'm interested to try straight blue-black at some point. My first request here was for specifically Sultai, but I would be surprised. I would be surprised if blue-black doesn't have legs. Do I keep this? I think I do. It feels bad that, like, I have a 4-lander that needs to draw another land, but I think it's pretty reasonable with most of our draws here. Noxious Grasp isn't very good against most Teferi decks. If you take a peek at a lot of the decks in the format that are playing Teferi, Noxious Grasp really doesn't kill anything other than Teferi in them, which is a big deal. So if I wanted extra Teferi, anti-Teferi cards, I discovered, rather than just Dispute and Murderous Rider, I'd rather play like the 4th Rider, more Disputes, Assassin Trophy, stuff like that. That's perfect. So yeah, let's get to do this on 1, and we'll get to fetch a forest with that on 4, and a Frilled Mystic up. Bant's a good call. Bant's a deck there hasn't been much of on the ladder, so it hasn't been kind of out of sight, out of mind. But yeah, I'd expect once the exploring fun new cards phase is over, Bant will come back in force most likely. And Noxious Grasp is good against Bant. That's fair. The Teferi deck primarily in the front of my mind was Jeskai Fires, because that gets the companion that people have been playing with. Well, you're right. If Bant is a Teferi deck explicitly that you're worried about, Noxious Grasp is fine there. Why is our opponent... Why has it not dropped our opponent? They've timed out twice now, right? Is it not 2? Or is it 3? The Jeskai deck wasn't particularly good. Narset does not seem like a constructed playable card. Three color decks and basic lands, am I right? Am I right, Chip? I would be surprised if the Temur Fires deck having green cards was better than having access to Clarion and Teferi. Was the conclusion at the end of the Fires deck. Felt okay, did some powerful things from a pure pure power level perspective, I feel like you'd probably be playing it just to be different rather than because it's actually good. So I assume we're going to lose Nightpack here. I'm on mobile and cooking with a sword. Give me a kitchen timer. That's great. I think because I'm so far down on resources here, I'd like to actually lead on Slitherwisp rather than the Nightpack Ambusher. I feel like I need every one of my cards to do as much as it possibly can. So I think getting my Nightpack Ambusher to draw a card seems good here. Seems ideal. Borrower is actually a great pickup because it'll give me something to do when they escape Burrow. Well, that attack doesn't bode well for our Ambusher, but it is what it is. Get to draw a card regardless here. The old game 1 Aether Gust. Honestly, we should probably have Aether Gust in our deck too, huh? The fact that I'm not playing game 1 Aether Gust, probably a punt in this format. That's a pretty good observation. Dimir gets to dodge Aether Gust. Seems relevant. So we'll go no attack here. We'll make our wolf. While it's still the end of turn here, I put a stop on the end of my turn, so That way I can do this before they get to untap and possibly have a better counterspell up. But after my token happens... Uro instead of Growth Spiral. I think if you look at the mana curve for the deck, you'll see why Growth Spiral is a lot more appealing. Also, part of the appeal of this archetype is supposed to be you get to leave mana up from, like, turns 3 onward. So tapping out on turn 3 kind of plays counter to that. This type of matchup seems pretty impossible for us. I don't think we have the tools to get under the opponent's archetype consistently. And as the game goes long, they're definitely incredibly favored. So I think we need to be as aggressive as possible in a matchup like this. And I'm not sure we're just well equipped to do that on average a lot of the time. I didn't want Disdainful Stroke in my deck here. You can see that. Yeah, escape is an alternative casting cost, similar to how what's it called? Flashback's an alternative casting cost. The best Darok, thanks for the 13 months. I mean, you could talk about the opponent's archetype being just good cards from last season until you're blue in the face, but like that's the reality of Standard, right? Like Standard, we're not just competing with new cards. We are adding a 7th set to what was already a 6-set format, and there's a very real chance that all of the best cards from last season are still the best cards this season. And, like, some of these new ones probably fit into pieces there, but finding things that are genuinely new takes a lot of effort. No, part of the reason why I've been pushing the mono blacklist is because it doesn't really have anything new in it, but it's at the top of the queue, so I'm going to go ahead and do it at the end today. It has two copies of the black removal spell in it, and that's it. I think I might cherry pick from the historic queue and not necessarily play it from the top down the rest of the week for the historic deck that we're gonna do. Pick out ones that have extra new cards in them. Let's do this in response, I think. Yeah, this is a high viewer count for me, especially how late into the evening it is. Usually 5 o'clock Central rolls around, which is 45 minutes ago. My count pitches off. Do people get the option to change a deck if it's been pushed back past a set release? Well, one of the appeals of non-rotating formats, the Drunk Owl, is that your deck generally isn't invalidated by a set release. So with Standard, I set it up so it times, so I'm not taking Standard decks that exist past a set release. And honestly, most of the time, Standard regulates itself most of the time. So, hey, no worries, Trey. You've got that sword next to your name, so you've been here a real long time. You'll be here in chat regardless when you drop by. Hope everything works out with you and yours. The way the systems are set up in such a messed up way in the United States, the costs associated with adopting are often as much or more than the associated costs with giving birth. Because why wouldn't you charge people who want to do something good an incredible amount of money? That wouldn't be very capitalist. Is there a chance it could have been right to flash in Slitherwisp rather than the wolf because it doesn't get hit by Gust? Maybe. Who knows? How did Wizards get away with printing Godzilla? They literally partnered with the company responsible for making Godzillas. That's kind of sweet. All right. Castle at least lets us do something with our mana. They're all under the Hasbro banner. Oh, does Hasbro own the Godzilla IP? Okay, that makes sense. The Hasbro subsidiary has that IP. It makes a lot of sense. They do not. Okay, I don't know then. It was just a joint effort then. Hasbro, okay, people in chat seem very confused. They own the toy rights. Okay, so a little bit of column A, little bit of column B. Do I want Cutthroat here? I feel like I don't. I feel like I need a better card than that. I don't know that I have a better card than that at this point. This is one of the reasons why... This is one of the reasons why the card that draws extra cards for you is such a big deal. Because this archetype often runs out of gas in the mid-game, it feels like. And it needs a way to gas back up. So that's a good one. It's complicated because Godzilla is an international product, so the rights are owned by different companies in different countries. That makes sense. Looking for a removal spell here. Oh, we're halfway there. Oh, living on a prayer. Take my hands. We'll make it, I swear. Do 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 do. All right, I feel like there's a chance someone might call the police on that one because that felt like a robbery, chat. It feels like we got away with something there. Feels like we got away with. Yeah, it feels like we punked them out. All right, do I want my Disdainful Strokes here? What do you want red for, Wargy? Yeah, now we have to try and not lose on the draw. What do I want to cut for Disdainful Stroke? Need 2 trims. Bone Crusher and Cleave. You want to splash a double red card? Sounds ambitious. Is it just the shark? It might just be the shark. Yeah, you're right. I should cut the shark. You're right. The shark's too slow here. Doesn't counter planeswalkers. All right. All right. I'm going to be sad about it, but you're right. 5 mana Mystic Snake. Listen, the stat line of my shark would like to have a conversation with you about your Mystic Snake comment. Thank you very much. My shark is offended at the implication of your mystical snakes. It's okay, little shark. I love you, little shark, I promise. Oh, did they miss a land drop? That's great. Ah, the world is our oyster, chat. The world is our oyster. They don't give us something to Frilled Mystic. We get to Slitherwisp here, which is great. Maybe I should have waited a turn to guaranteed cantrip something here. Yeah, maybe I'm supposed to wait a turn to guaranteed cantrip something. What a Heartless Act, chat. Opponent committing Heartless Acts all over the place. Must be a Republican. Thanks for the 10 months, Miss Spade. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Like, the nice part about them missing land drops is they're not going to double spell anytime too soon. The scary part is it means they have five spells in their hand, right? Alright, so we're going to go ahead and Cutthroat first here into Frilled Mystic. Counter your things, add 6 power to the table. So we'll get to second Frilled Mystic plus Cycle the Triome here. The fact that our opponent stumbled a bit here could be our stepping stone to success. Yeah, the Flash deck's very good at capitalizing on people bricking, right? And I think this matchup was going to be hard for us on the draw regardless. Opponent can unfortunately with the 6th land escape Uro and Aether Gust our Frilled Mystic here, which could be all they need to get back into this game. We will at least be able to Frilled Mystic through a Mystic Dispute, but feels like I'm about to get Aether Gusted and feel bad. You know what doesn't get Aether Gusted, chat? You know what doesn't get Aether Gusted, chat? A 5/4 Shark doesn't get... Okay, it gets Disdainful Stroke. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. They both get stripped. Usually they buy me dinner before they stroke me that aggressively, though. A little bit rough. Yeah, I agree. That felt like the turning point, right? Like we just don't have any gas left. They won that fight. We didn't untap and draw a removal spell. Like if we would have like untapped and drawn like Murderous Rider or Tyrant Scorn, we would have still been in this, but with just lands in hand, we're done here. We're dead before, certainly are now. Yeah, and I could have potentially sequenced my spells differently to get a little bit of value off the Slitherwisp that game, and I think perhaps I should have. Like, I sequenced in a way that allowed them to kill my Slitherwisp when I didn't have to, and that was a big deal. We are doing well so far, Drax. She actually had her 30-week checkup this morning. So in addition to going to that, she stopped and picked up some groceries from Walmart. So we'll be back to not leaving the house for another 2 weeks until her next appointment. Now this is Sultai Flashel Cheetos. Come on now. We have an Opt or some kind of cycle card here, it looks like. Flashel's my favorite archetype too. Things that don't get to resolve. That one. What are the playable mythics of this set? Just the Planeswalkers? I don't know, offhand. I don't really know what rarities cards are. Hashtag whale problems. King of the Cosmos is mythic. King of the Cosmos is great. And you get to say, King of the Cosmos, King of the Cosmos, King of the Cosmos. It's an all upside card, really. It's an all upside card, chat. Okie doke. Hey, good games don't use Agrons. Thanks for the 21 months. Welcome back. Okay. Omen of the Dead picks up Slitherwisp and draws a card from Slitherwisp for 1 mana. That's an interesting thought. In a straight blue-black shell, the blue Omen also does that, right? That actually sounds really sweet. Leveraging the flash enchantments to cantrip off of Wisp. Yeah, they have flash, right? That's neat. I hadn't thought about them that way. Yeah, all 5 of them have flash. I don't know that we have room in this deck, and that's another reason why I think the straight blue-black build might play, because the straight blue-black build, you know, there's so many cards to pick from in that already that, like, you have, you, like, don't need the extra color, basically. You know what, I should probably play this, because in the event they have Mystic Dispute for this, or a Shock, I'd rather have the Brazen Borrower left over. Ashiok's Erasure is a flash counterspell. That's true, but I don't know if that small upside is worth playing it. Tyrant, Scorn seems like an easy cut here. Rider, Gust, and Stroke all seem reasonable. Hey, Amherst, thanks for the biddies. I appreciate that. The cost reducer creature makes Erasure cheaper. That's true. That's true. I think Shark's probably the cut here again. I think on the draw, that card's a tough sell. I'm bored down the Typhoons too. Typhoon's kind of like a filler threat. Hey, Magician 12, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Oglandia. I think this is keepable. Basic lands looking to touch awkward again, but we're like on the draw. I have the Growth Spiral. I have Murderous Rider to deal with the Teferi if we hit our colors. It's fine. I'm going to go ahead and lead on Fabled Passage here so I can fetch Forest to go Island Growth Spiral on 2. I don't know that I'd play Dream Eater in a post-Shark world. Feel like Shark's the one I want at the top end of my curve. Triome is fantastic here. Gonna make all of our colors work out easy peasy. So now we get to do this and play the Triome, and then we get to Murderous Rider the Teferi next turn. However, we won't be able to Disdainful Stroke whatever they do the following turn. Here's an interesting question. With them having elected to minus Teferi already, I think we just Nightpack Ambusher now, right? And pass. I think if they had plus Teferi, I'd Murderous Rider him, but because they didn't, we'll just play the Nightpack Ambusher. Yeah, this seems good.
I've got it.
That's funny. I didn't think about... Someone said Embercleave earlier, but I didn't connect the dot that Embercleave draws a card with Slitherwisp. That's hilarious. The exploring non-creatures that have the flash keyword on them seems like a really interesting direction to go. Between the omens and things like Embercleave. Those both seem like reasonable directions to consider taking. Is this Triumph coming into play, or are we cycling it? I might be cycling it. Do I cycle this, or do I do this? I'm gonna let this happen, and just plan to bounce it with Brazen Borrower and play Slitherwisp. Go. Then they're at 6 again, and I have triple blue with the Triome, so even if they have like a Shatter here, I get to go Cutthroat Borrower, kill them. This one feels pretty good. Alright, we're by no means anywhere near done with this deck yet. It's been really sweet, so I'm going to play a bit more of it. I did, however, just eat dinner, so I need to run to the restroom and brush my teeth really quick so I can throw my Invisalign back in. I'll be back in just a couple minutes. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere. We're going to play some more Sultai Flash in just a moment. right. Thanks everybody for sticking through the short break there. I appreciate you. Hope everybody's having a great Friday. Great start to your weekend. Stay safe out there wherever you're at in the world. Welcome, welcome. If you're a new viewer, my name is Jeff Hoagland. I stream full-time here on Twitch. We play a ton of Constructed Magic. We play a ton of different decks each day. Usually we change decks every 60 minutes to 2 hours. So you get a lot of variety in my streams each day. If you want to find out what the best of the best are decks that I stream every single day, you can check the videos favorites page on my website. Really great way to kind of check the summary at the end of the day if you didn't watch throughout the entire day to see which decks I thought were the best. Always find deck lists in every video description, well-organized content here. A lot of these decks that we play on stream are viewer-submitted deck lists or ideas. If you'd like to submit your own deck to be played at some point in the future, you can do so using the form on my website there. Candidates for deck of the day. Blue-Red Mutate that we started with today was a total treat. Really enjoyed it. I think this deck is probably a candidate so far too. Feel like what we have going on here seems reasonable. I saw some folks when I came back in talking about the next Hoaglandia Open. So we did a historic open this past weekend that was quite successful. I was really happy with the coverage of it and all the players that played in it. So we're going to be doing those as monthly tournaments moving forward. And the next one we're going to have coming up pretty quickly, actually, because we wanted to do a standard one while everything was fresh. So next Saturday, a week from tomorrow, April 25th, we'll be having a standard open that is free to enter for any of my Twitch subscribers. Speaking of Twitch subscribers, thanks for the 5 sub gifties, Game Arcane. And that applies to gift subs, prime subs, paid subs. Everyone who is subscribed to the channel has the ability to play in it. Past being subscribed to the channel, the only other requirement in owning a standard deck on Arena is that you need to be able to broadcast your Arena to the subscriber Discord server upon request, so that way we can provide coverage of the event. One of our wonderful sponsors, Cool Stuff Inc. I'm actually wearing a Cool Stuff Inc. sweater. They have put up $500 in store credit for the tournament as well, which is awesome. We appreciate them for that. So we'll have our players play in for a little something something in addition to the glory of the tournament. See that kind of scotch of awkward tension in our mana here. We've got Slitherwisp and Frilled Mystic here. You know, Swamp and Frilled Mystic, not necessarily looking stellar. On the draw here against the 1-drop aggro deck, also not looking fantastic for our hero. Alright. Tyrant Scorn's a decent pickup. Opponent has Luris here as their companion. This is an archetype that Croakies was playing a little bit of earlier today. It seemed really powerful when we played against it so far today. Definitely Abaddon. We aim to please. Enjoy. So I'm going to lead on Cutthroat rather than kill this right away, because they don't currently have anything in their graveyard to generate value with this. So I'd like to wait to kill this until next turn, so that way when I kill it with the Tyrant Scorn, my Cutthroat gets big enough to block their 1/1s. I feel like I'd be really surprised if Slitherwisp doesn't end up constructed playable somewhere. Cards that generate value like this feel like they, on average are going to be pretty reasonable somewhere. The fact that it, like, drains your opponent for life when you draw the card too is huge as well. Man, kind of feel dead. Like, I can bounce this and pick it back up so they don't kill it, but then, like, I'm taking 5 in combat here, and then, like, the cat's just sitting here gonna bounce in and out and kill me. Yeah, like the Scorpion here, too. Yeah, I feel like this game's pretty much over at this point already. Yep. They've gotten us low enough that, like, the Scorpion and the cat and the oven are just gonna, like, run us out of the game. Alright, we're going to take the curve of our deck and drag it way down here now. Get these Disfigures in, get these Murderous Riders in, get these Return to Natures in, get these Thrashing Brontodons in. A little bit less flashy, a little bit more play to the board here. Probably trim... I probably don't want to trim Frilled Mystic. This gives me 16 cards with flash for Slitherwisp, which is probably about the lowest I want to go. Yeah, don't bring in the extra Murderous Rider, because it's not that great against Oven. I have 4 Disfigure, 2 Heartless Act, 2 Scorns. This is 8, 9, 10 removal spells, plus some counters. I'm going to trim my Growth Spiral, actually, since I'm trimming some of my top end. This looks great. We get to go. Tap land here into second tap land, disfigure your thing on 2 into Slitherwisp on 3. Rude. Rude. Well, that's an excellent pickup. I think I want to play this on 2 and just get it grown up. There could be merit to playing this after Slitherwisp so it draws a card. Actually super happy to just trade this here at this point. I think this is a good exchange for us. It's really sweet that this card drains your opponent. Like, usually when you have these block effects where you're drawing a card, it's you're losing the life. So the fact that this stacks up nicely in multiples is good. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and Growth Spiral here, because it's pretty important that I find a removal spell for this card ASAP. Swing and miss. I guess we just exile this. Otherwise, they're going to get to put it into play, and that's not okay. Brutal. We're just out of resources now at this point. All right. Yeah, Luris casting Kroxa is definitely a thing. Really need to draw a wolf here at this point. That's kind of like our catch-up card. This has always kind of been the problem with the flash decks, is like, once you stop being ahead, you end up in what feels like a pretty bad spot. Sequencing. I mean, I guess they just get to replay it with this, so it's like, whatever. I guess they get an extra cat activation out of it. Feels like we're pretty dead here. I guess maybe we could be okay if we can draw something to kill the Luris. Kind of surprised they didn't replay the Oven here. Feels like a miss. I'm going to go ahead and concede now at this point, though. Yeah, the Luris Aristocrats deck seems really impressive. Evening Turtle Jr. Yeah, a lot of the companions have real deck builder restrictions. Time will tell if they ended up balancing them appropriately, but at a glance, it feels like they did a good job of making them not trivial. Do we no longer play now in these kind of decks, or just I don't understand I think your sentence is missing a word. I guess it paired as they hit cancel? It must have, right? Oh, bow. Bow's an interesting thought. Huh? I don't know. 2-mana cards that don't impact the board or something to think about. I don't know. I don't know that I, like, look at my deck and look at, okay, I don't know that I ask myself what problems does this have and conclude that, like, those problems are solved by adding bow to it. 2 copies of Cling to Dust. Yeah, that could be okay. Cling was a card that was super impressive last season in the decks that we played it in. Excuse me. Whenever you draw a card, put a foreshadow counter on this, remove 8 counters, get an 8/8 Kraken. Alright, so we know what our Brazen Borrowers are doing. We know what our Brazen Borrowers are reserved for. I don't know how much card disadvantage this deck can run. Card disadvantage in what context, Fearburger? Yeah, this card, what's the word? It seems ambitious in a world where Brazen Borrower and Teferi exist. Bow costs 2 cards to generate 1. Yeah, that's fair. The thing about Bow is, though, like, once you get to, like, 6 lands, it's turning non-cards into real cards. So, like, it improves your card quality by a lot in games that go long. I'm just not sure that, like, the games are going that long that often. Thing in the Nice. That's funny. It's a good solid nickname. Hey, my head's not shaved, thank you very much. Says it what a shaved head looks like. Congrats on hitting your goal, Stratocaster. I appreciate the 8 months. Release the Kraken! You could have bounced the enchantment. Why did you give them hope? Yeah, the enchantment doesn't sacrifice. It gets to try again. Like, if we're not pressuring them, which our deck isn't currently because they just killed our stuff, like, Yeah. I think we're gonna die, chat. Yeah, they probably have Barkley Phoenix in their deck. I think that's probably a reasonable expectation. If they don't, they probably should. Yeah, Borrower might race them alongside these chump blockers. I feel like you would need Phoenix in your deck just so you can, like, find this card consistently. Like, you need something to do when you don't find that card. Narset is definitely rude against the opponent's archetype. I wonder if they could maybe play Godzilla as a second win condition. Yeah, oh no. They say he's got to go Godzilla. And their deck's probably really good at getting back to Godzilla, huh? I think we're gonna die, chat. I think we're gonna die. That's pretty great. Yeah, how resilient is their deck, right? Like, do they have enough removal to stay alive is always the question. Yeah, they have another 8/8 queued up here. So, like, we've got a flying shark, but, like, they have an 8/8 queued up. Yep. He's got to go Godzilla. Yep. Yikes. Yikes! We're being out-memed, chat. We're being out-memed. Return to nature and Thrashing Brontodon. Get in my deck. Shark and Typhoon seems slow. Bring in a couple of Murderous Riders. I don't know what card you're referring to, Sword and Shield. I only know all of these cards by their Godzilla names. I don't know what the actual Magic cards are called. Oh, the Grenruda. That deck seems neat. It's doing something novel at the very least. How do I go about signing up for the Historic Open? Well, the next Open's going to be standard, actually, JT Rod. So my plan is to do an Open Series event every month in Hoaglandia, with the event immediately following a set release being standard. So the May and June Hoaglandia Opens will be historic. This April one is going to be standard. And we did 2 this month because the first one was kind of just figuring things out. Yeah, I think so, Tuber. The green cards have felt kind of clunky overall, too. And, like, the fact that black gets Libation seems like a big deal. You're about to get shocked here. Feels bad, man. And for reference, you'll always be able to find the sign up for the next open by typing !next open in chat if it's available for signups. That's my plan. That next open command will always contain information about the next Hoaglandia open. Basic Swamp and Frilled Mystic. Black gets what? Farika's Libation. Lets you interact with enchantments still. Will Brawl ever be considered for a Hoot slot? No. My goal is to make the tournament formats people want to play. And that's not strictly fair. I'm sure there's plenty of people that enjoy playing Brawl. Brawl's not really a competitive format. Brawl's not really a competitive format. Maybe somewhere down the line. Nah, even in Joe, I think competitive commander's an oxymoron. I think competitive commander in general is an oxymoron. I think those two things should stay separate. You can play commander in any format now, just pick your favorite companion. Any thoughts on doing Modern Opens? I want to broadcast a Modern Open just about as much as people want to watch Magic Online. Which is to say, not at all. The second basic swamp. There's only 2 formats, so your formats might get limited. Not really. I would be... Magic will be in a very bad place if Wizards of the Coast lets both Standard and Historic get to places that aren't good. Day 9 said something like, competitive commander is like going to the playground and sitting on the swings in an incredibly serious way. It's a good comparison, I think. Yeah, the historic card pool is going to expand an incredible amount this year. Historic is going to gain Amonkhet Remastered, Jumpstart, lots of great things coming to Historic this year. I mean, I definitely think there's big potential for online tournament series to be good if done well and have good coverage. In my opinion, digital Magic is infinitely more watchable than paper Magic. Yes, Amonkhet Remastered, you did hear that, right? Man, we're gonna die to this stupid turtle, aren't we? This turtle's about to just dumpster us. Your opponent's playing 8/8 tribal. They really are, aren't they? Yeah, and we'll see too. There's lots of different directions we can take the series events in. My rep at Cool Stuff Inc. that hooked me up with the store credit for the prizes said if these go successful and grow, they'd be interested in expanding how much credit they're giving us. I don't know that I necessarily want to go through the legal liability of figuring out how to do cash prizes anytime soon, but feels like store credit for gaming, a wide selection gaming store like Cool Stuff Inc.'s a pretty good middle ground, especially for events that have a nominal entry fee of just a sub. Opponent's done a very good job of killing actual everything we've played this game. If they find their way into another turtle, we're going to be dead very quickly. Does CSI credit work for Europeans? That's a good question. I believe they ship internationally, but I don't have an answer to that offhand. Anybody know? Can you check their website? I feel like I should know the answer to that. Well, you know, I boarded out my Shark Tornadoes, which is sad. And why wouldn't they just do this last turn? Why did they wait? I can't counterspell this. Zill, thanks for the 5 months. Welcome back. I mean, we're super dead to that. Yeah, I mean, I can bounce it, but they literally just cycle it again and get it back into play. So again, Yadaro is if you cycled this 4 or more times. So it literally just every copy just keeps coming back into play for 2 mana. Yeah, it's sweet. I don't know, this felt kind of underwhelming to me. As I was putting this together, I was kind of looking at it and felt like these green cards just didn't seem super necessary. And I kind of like the idea of dragging the curve down a little bit more. I think Sea Dasher Octopus could potentially be very good in this archetype. I think between Slitherwisp and Sea Dasher Octopus, you could just play a plethora of counter spells and removal spells. Octopus and Spectral Sailor, yeah, I could see that. You could play Spectral Sailor as another way. Yeah, having such a high curve, and it could even be that Greatshark's not even good in this archetype just because of how high up on the curve it goes. Just like being something that's closer to the mono blue tempo decks from seasons past feels like it's probably a better direction to go in. I feel like after playing that, this deck when we were playing it felt like it had a lot of the same problems that the blue-green flash deck from 2 seasons ago had, where it just kind of ran out of gas too consistently. We didn't have good ways to generate card advantage. Another thing that's really interesting with Slitherwisp that we talked about is something to think about is enchantments that have flash are things to consider. So like Slitherwisp with Omen of the Sea draws cards. You could technically play Ashiok's Erasure to draw cards. You could play Omen of the Dead to draw cards. Maybe this card isn't terrible. Like, you're gonna play the blue mutate card anyways. maybe you just play a couple copies of this, and sometimes you mutate it in, and you have a 6-cost destroy a thing, but like you mutate the octopus onto this, and you destroy something when it happens. Doesn't seem completely unreasonable. This is a Dirge Bat if you want the non-Godzilla name. Yeah, I could see this being better top end. The regular CMC is 4. Oh, sorry, you can't see because I am. Yeah, it costs 4 to play and then 6 to whatever mutate. All right, I'm gonna hit one more ad roll, and then we are gonna come back. We're gonna wind down a little bit with some historic. Historic has lost its ranked ladder, but it is still available to play in the 1,000 gold entry fee event, so I'm still going to do a little bit of that, not just going to drop the format off the face of the earth. This deck doesn't really have too many cards from the new set in it, but hopefully we'll see some of those in opposing decks. I'll be back in just a few minutes. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere. This deck had a big donation behind it, so it popped up into first. I think for the rest of the historic streams this week, I'm going to cherry pick some decks that have guaranteed new cards in them as opposed to just a couple of Heartless Acts here. These standout decks from the day. Yeah, the blue-red mutate deck we started on today was a lot of fun.